Hello, my name's Charlie, live from the Stephen Lawrence Centre. There's been a lot of TV programmes and press articles about dangerous dogs, but why are dogs like this? Is it their upbringing? Upbringing can change anyone. If a boy was to be brought up in Deptford and was to come into contact with guns and drugs, then he would be different to a boy who was brought up in Kent who attended a private school. Or is it in a dog's nature? The law states that different breeds of dogs are more dangerous than other breeds. Is this true? We're going to be interviewing Natalie Dexter, who is the education officer from the Dogs Trust. And but first we've got a film about a young boy who has 5 dogs who people see as dangerous.
Name's Aaron. I have 5 dogs. This is Tyler, one of many. He's an American Bulldog. Bonnie said she was the staff since she's now 14. She had her from the pup. She was 8 weeks old. Tyler, I've had him now for 3 years. I've had him since he was a pup.
Yeah, they've been brought up around all my children, and I've never had a problem with any of my dogs. I don't think my dogs are aggressive. My children can come in, they can rough and tumble with the dogs, and my dogs will not attack them. I think it's the way the animals are brought up. It's all to do with the owners, I think.
Other people may use them for threats, not me. I use them as a family pet, their company. They're good to cuddle up to in the night or when you're upset. They're just a good companion. Come here.
Come here, Rox.
It's all to do with the owner. Dogs are only become dangerous in the way you bring them and their upbringing, and it's nothing to do with them. It's unfair.
They're just lovable, they're my pets. They're just a joy to have around the house.
Okay, now we will talk with Natalie Dexter, the Education Manager of the Dogs Trust. Hello, Natalie.
Hi there.
Right. So what is the Dogs Trust all about?
The Dogs Trust is the UK's largest dog welfare charity, and we care for over 16,000 dogs a year that are found stray and abandoned here in the UK. What we do is we take care of these dogs, give them lots of love, care and attention, and then we finally rehome them to brand new families.
And how many of these associations are there over the distance of the UK?
We have 18 rehoming centres internationally as well as in the UK.
Okay.
And collectively together we look after a very high number of stray and abandoned dogs.
How long have you worked with the Dogs Trust then?
Nearly 4 years now as an education officer. I'm based in London, previously working partly over West London, now predominantly East London. And we have around 11 education officers altogether.
Oh, right. So do you yourself as a dog lover agree that dogs are violent from birth, or is it a way they are brought up, a way they're much like children, that is it the way they are influenced by their owners, or is it already bred into them?
It's completely the way that the owners bring the dogs up. You never get a bad dog, just a bad dog owner. And it's the owner's influence, their training, their socialisation of the dog, which affects the dog and the way that they are with other people and other dogs too. So it's definitely not the breed that is the problem, it's the irresponsible dog ownership which leads to people's opinions on there being an aggressive dog.
Well, in the media, people would have you believe that dogs are completely violent of their own accord. Do you believe that the dogs that come to you, do you see more violent dogs come to you, or more dogs that have been mistreated, that have been not brought up the way they should be? Is it violent dogs that are being given to you because that their owners can't control them, or is it their owners have no interest in looking after them anymore?
It's a real mix. What has been a massive influence is status dogs, and so we're getting a lot of Staffordshire Bull Terrier crosses in our rehoming centres across the country. The problem here is that people do assume that they have an aggression problem. It's not the case. These dogs are fantastic pet dogs. What we do see are aggressive dogs, but what dogs just don't do is rehome those dogs as a handover dog. What we do with the dogs that will be given from the local councils is we work with those dogs and train them to be well behaved. It might be that they've come from a background where the owner has not done that in the first place, in which case it's then our problem to make sure that that doesn't become a problem in the future again.
So the vicious dogs that you and your charity do come into contact with, do you find a lot of them are owned by owners of a young age, of youthful owners? Because that has come across in the media as a big problem. Young men and women who have dogs as accessories and usually Staffordshire Bull Terriers, the young owners who have their own dogs, do you think that's a big influence that they're not old enough to look after themselves, let alone look after another? Is a person, basically. Definitely. Another person.
Well, for starters, the dogs that we care for, not forgetting the majority of them are stray and abandoned, so we don't necessarily see the background from what they're coming from originally. Obviously, dogs just are well aware of the problem with status dogs, especially they're linked to young people, especially youths in the community with behavioural problems, causing disturbances. There is this trend to have a dog that's almost an extension of their personality. The issue here is that we'll obviously try and educate people to be responsible dog ownerships, but there's obviously a lot there that goes beyond what we can help with. There's only so much that Dogs Trust can offer to solve this problem, and what we are doing is trying our best to help those in need.
So do you feel the fact that dogs take on characteristics and their own kind of personalities and their own, it's like they're a type of person that you can actually interact with, do you think that reflects on their antisocial behaviour?
I think so. You've got the antisocial young people that are behaving that way, and obviously their dogs then become influenced in that way too. And indeed then the dogs will behave badly. So that's why we try and encourage people to be responsible and to train their dogs positively. What we're desperately trying to encourage is that people don't blame the dogs. We have a saying, don't judge the breed, judge the deed. In which case we want people to recognise that they're the problem, not the dog themselves, especially not any particular breed. Any dog could be a dangerous dog under the right influence of their owner.
In your eyes, do you think that the dogs are being portrayed wrongly in the media? There's always a lot of media around dogs biting children, dogs being violent to other dogs, dog fighting. That there never seems to be media based around the dogs that help blind people, the dogs that are family pets for life, and other such things. Do you think the media only wants to portray these dogs as bad?
I think there's definitely a high number of press coverage with incidents between dogs and young people. I think what the media is trying to portray is that people need to do something about this, not just society, but the government, the police, etc. What we are trying to determine is that people recognise that the problem here is not going to be solved overnight. People have got an opinion of particular breeds. What we're trying to encourage families, dog owners, young people out in the street is to be responsible dog owners and to respect dogs and to understand that it's completely our influence upon the dogs to the way that they're brought up. Very similar, I guess, to children as well with their parents.
Okay, well, thank you, Natalie.
You're welcome.
Am I concluding or not? I need to know.